ever since the Tesla Cybertruck was revealed nearly 5 years ago, we've all known it is unlike any other vehicle just by the looks alone, but let me tell you, driving it is on a whole other level. I just spent a week with the Cybertruck, and these are my first impressions from the perspective of a longtime Tesla owner myself. Now, this is the dual motor all-wheel drive Foundation series that cost a whopping $110,000 after taxes and fees. But soon this should be available for $20,000 cheaper when the normal non-Foundation series Cybertrucks begin delivering. Right now, this limited edition Foundation series is primarily a way for Tesla to make some extra money from the people who want to be the first to own the truck. Now, getting into the standard features of the Cybertruck, one of the most unique and obvious is the ultra-hard stainless steel exterior that is supposedly dent-resistant and reduces long-term corrosion, along with the armored glass that Tesla claims can resist the impact of a baseball at 70 miles an hour and also Class 4 hail. Now, the stainless steel, along with the lines and sharp edges in the entirety of the design, definitely makes it stand out among all other vehicles on the road. It's obviously nice not worrying about paint chips or really any minor damage at all, but the stainless steel does have its drawbacks, such as how easily it shows fingerprints and how blinding it can be at certain angles when the sun hits it. And interestingly enough, there are no badges on the exterior that indicate the make or model, so people who are unfamiliar with Tesla are really flabbergasted when they see this truck. There are also no door handles, but rather rectangular buttons that actually physically press in to pop out the door. Now, this Foundation series interior comes standard with white decor and black seats, but now there's also an option for a tactical gray decor instead of white. The massive 18.5-inch center touchscreen with an all-new cyber-themed user interface is a very nice upgrade if you're used to the smaller 15-inch touchscreens in the Model 3 and Model Y. Now, this screen has a ton of surface area, it's super responsive, and it's very crisp and bright. It's one of my favorite features of the Cybertruck. And other notable interior features include a 9.4-inch rear display for backseat passengers, 15 total speakers with dual subwoofers for one of the best vehicle sound systems you'll probably ever experience, upward folding second row seats, heated and cooled ventilated front seats that are very comfortable despite the same angular theme design as the rest of the car, HEPA filter, aka bioweapon defense mode, a panoramic windshield and glass roof, along with custom cabin lighting that gives some nice relaxing vibes at night. Now, the center console features wireless charging area for multiple phones, along with 3 USB-C chargers. The large 122 kilowatt hour battery pack provides an estimated range of over 300 miles and features 5 onboard power outlets with the ability to even charge another EV. Now, the bed also has one of my personal favorite features, which is an automatic tonneau cover that can be opened and closed with the push of a button on the back of the truck or from the center touchscreen or even the Tesla app. Now, the 120 cubic feet of total storage is a big benefit of this truck. It has a decent sized front trunk compared to other Teslas, even though the depth is fairly narrow and is definitely outclassed by the mega power frunk on the Ford F-150 Lightning, which has twice the volume of the Cybertruck's frunk. Now, this dual motor Foundation series variant comes with the Cyber wheels with all-terrain tires, giving an estimated 318 miles of range. However, the other wheel option offers smaller core wheels with all-season tires that provide about a 6% range boost up to 340 miles. But I will say, as much as I love getting the maximum range and efficiency, the larger Cyber wheels look much better. Plus, the all-terrain tires come with the convenience of off-roading and driving in snowy conditions. Now, whether you love or hate the Cybertruck, the important thing is that no matter what electric vehicle you choose, to get the most out of ownership, you should definitely sign up for today's sponsor, Recurrent, which is a free platform for EV owners and designed by battery scientists to analyze your vehicle's range and battery. I've been using Recurrent on all my Tesla vehicles for the past couple years, and I'm a huge fan. It's a simple one-time process to sign up and connect your electric vehicle. Then after that, you'll get access to daily owner insights on range and battery performance, along with many other helpful data points. And when it's time to sell or trade in your EV, you can use the Recurrent info to show the current state of the range and battery to potentially sell your car for more money, because Recurrent's network of dealerships pays a premium for these cars. And if you're a first-time EV buyer, you can use Recurrent to check the range, battery, and tax credit eligibility on tens of thousands of used EVs for free. These reports use data about the vehicle to compare one car to thousands of similar cars. No data is ever sold or shared without consent, and battery data is handled securely with end-to-end encryption. Click the link below to sign up today and join me along with 20,000 other EV drivers who trust Recurrent for their battery data. Okay, so actually driving this spaceship of a vehicle is pretty insane. First of all, if you desperately want attention from other people, then this truck is for you. Nearly everyone who sees this truck does a double take. People will stare and take pictures and even go out of their way to come up to it and check it out. Now, this is fun if you are passionate about the truck or just spreading EV awareness or just like putting smiles on people's faces. But if you're an introvert or you just don't have time to always stop and talk to people, it may become a bit of a nuisance after a while. And I've never owned a truck before, so the first thing that stood out to me when I got in was it felt like I was driving a bus. This thing is just so much bigger and more spacious than my Model 3 and even my Model Y. And the comfort is one of the best features of this cabin, and I liked the vantage point of sitting up much higher than my low-riding Model 3. This is a Tesla at the end of the day, and even though this truck is over 6,000 pounds, it still has that Tesla quickness that we all know and love with a 0 to 60 speed of 4.1 seconds. Accelerating that quickly in a vehicle this size is surreal. It has 600 horsepower and 11,000 pounds towing capacity, but we all know Cybertruck owners are not hauling anything, right? Now, another favorite feature of mine is the electronically adaptive air suspension that offers up to 16 inches of clearance. Now, you can set different ride heights from the touchscreen and it will automatically lower and raise the truck, which is awesome. And the acoustic glass helps keep the cabin fairly quiet at high speeds. However, compared to my Model 3 and Y, I did notice that the Cybertruck motor seems louder, and the regen braking with the all-terrain tires definitely was louder when coming to a stop. But quite possibly the coolest and most innovative feature is the steer-by-wire and rear steering that both enable a tighter turning radius than many small sedans. With the steer-by-wire system, there is no physical connection between the steering wheel and the wheels. Instead, electronically controlled motors are used to change the direction of the wheels and provide feedback to the driver. And I believe the Cybertruck is the first consumer vehicle in the US to have this feature. And the benefit of this is not having to keep spinning the wheel all the way to the left or the right when you're doing tight turns. Instead, the squircle only turns a fraction of what a normal steering wheel does, but since the rear wheels also turn, it accomplishes the same maximum turning radius. Simply put, it makes steering easier and simpler, and in my experience, more one-handed. However, it is the biggest learning curve for this vehicle. By day 4, I was finally getting used to the steer-by-wire maneuvering, and by the time I went back to my Model 3, it felt like a big downgrade when I had to turn the steering wheel way more for a turn than I was doing in the Cybertruck. Steer-by-wire was made possible due to Cybertruck's all-new 48-volt architecture compared to the legacy 12-volt systems in other Tesla models. And steer-by-wire is also controlled by multiple redundant sensors and actuators. So by going that electronic route, I wonder if there's a lower chance of mechanical breakdown. Either way, it feels like it's the future of driving, and I'd love to see it be implemented in all the other Tesla vehicles in the near future. However, the biggest downside of steer-by-wire in the Cybertruck is that it might be the reason that autopilot still is not available yet. It's astonishing that Tesla is delivering a $100,000+ truck without basic autopilot included. That brings me to some of the downsides of this truck that I noticed. First, since this doesn't have autopilot, I try to drive with my knee for a few seconds when I needed to grab something, but that is pretty much impossible to do with the squircle steering wheel design. The doors are also extremely heavy and hard to close and open, especially for a kid. The lone windshield wiper seems functional, but it is gigantic, and the dash is insanely deep and seems to go on for miles, so good luck if something ever slides up on the dash while you're driving. The rearview mirror is not only tiny, but it is useless when the tonneau cover is closed because it blocks the back window. However, I really like their solution to this with the rear camera feed that shows up on the touchscreen while driving. You can also move that camera feed to different areas of the screen, which is nice. And Tesla is unfortunately known for their fit and finish issues, and I noticed in this truck there were some noticeable bubbles in the white dash material and a few imperfections, such as on the rear floor, there was some plastic stuck in the rubber door sealing. Things like that, especially on a 6-figure vehicle, should not be happening. That's also a risk you take with a first-generation product like this, and essentially being a beta tester, but hopefully that will improve as production gets more refined. Now finally, let's talk about the charging and efficiency. The Cybertruck comes with 800-volt charging capability, which is an upgrade from most other EVs that run on 400 volts. This gives the Cybertruck the ability to charge at speeds up to 350 kilowatts at upcoming Tesla V4 superchargers. And after almost 2,000 miles, this Cybertruck is averaging 428 watt-hours per mile, which equals 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour. For comparison, my Model 3 has a lifetime average of 253 watt-hours per mile, which equals 4 miles per kilowatt hour. For me, this is the biggest turnoff about the Cybertruck. It's going to be nowhere near as efficient as a Model 3, especially a rear-wheel drive, long-range Model 3 like mine. And if you drive a lot, it makes sense to get the most efficient option. It looks like if you own a Cybertruck, you should aim for 400 watt hours per mile or under to achieve that 300 miles of range on a full charge. Look, the Cybertruck is polarizing. Some people hate it while others love it. The fact that it was made and is in relatively high demand is hard to believe. It's full of boldness and cutting edge technology, but it's also overkill and out of most people's budgets and needs. Right now, this is a rich person's toy, or it plays part in some sort of monetization strategy, whether it's renting it out to others or for a social media influencer type person. However, once Tesla begins offering the $80,000 non-foundation series that is possibly eligible for tax credit, this might be a solid contender for people who need a hard-nosed utilitarian truck that is eye-catching and fun to drive. But for others, I leave you with this quote from Morgan Housel, who is one of my favorite personal finance writers. It's called the cool car paradox. When you see a cool car, you don't think the driver is cool. You think you'd be cool if you drove it. So you buy it to feel cool, but the people who see you drive it don't care about you, the driver. They picture themselves driving it. So never buy a car, or anything for that matter, simply to impress others. Let me know what you think about this Cybertruck in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. My name is Andy. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more Tesla and tech videos in the future. I'll see you in the next one.